Emotion regulation is the part of DBT where we focus on skills that will help you control the way you're feeling. To open this unit, we're going to learn about the model of emotion. This chart helps you map out, describe, and understand the emotions you're feeling. There are a few components of the model, and each part helps identify triggers that can make some emotions stronger. By utilizing the model, you can indicate times to activate skills to regain control in an overwhelming or intense situation. Today I'm going to show you how to use the model of emotions when talking about anxiety having to do with social distancing. This is what a completed model of emotions looks like. Let's break this down. Keep in mind that although social distancing can elicit many feelings, we're going to be focusing on anxiety. Vulnerability factors are the things in your life that make you more susceptible to feeling the current emotion. For instance, before quarantine ever started, someone could have already been dealing with anxiety disorders. That means that when a high-stress situation like this pandemic begins, the anxiety a person is feeling can intensify, making it almost unmanageable. There could be thousands of vulnerability factors that can make anxiety worse, such as an overwhelming workload, a sick friend or family member, or drug use, including marijuana, which we know creates feelings of paranoia, but for some reason is still a drug teens use to cope with their anxiety. There could even be problems going on at home, which makes social isolation at home really difficult. This leads us to our prompting event. A prompting event is the thing that happens that causes the current emotion. We know that the purpose of anxiety is to alert us to potential threats, and it allows us to evaluate the situation and respond in appropriate ways. Social distancing is a high-stress situation for everyone because that sense of anxiety is what we all need to follow that stay-at-home order and to be safe. But for some people, the anxiety is more crippling than it is helpful. And there's two ways that our thoughts play a factor in how we're feeling. Sometimes thoughts can lead to even more intense feelings, and other times our emotions can fuel the thoughts that we're having. Worry thoughts, such as those shown, can make us feel even more out of control in a situation where we have very little control. The first signs that you're feeling anxious may happen inside of you. If you don't recognize what's happening, it can be really scary to feel your heart race and to feel so sick and not know why. And since it's happening inside of you, others may not know you're struggling. Sometimes those internal feelings can show on the outside of the body, and that can alert to others that we need help. But when it doesn't happen, we have to remember to ask for help because your feelings are valid, you're important, and you deserve to feel better. If someone doesn't receive help or use skills for their anxiety, there can be a whole host of consequences that presents themselves. These are some of the most common, and like I said in the beginning of the video, people may even try to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol to tame the way their body is feeling. This can lead to a surge of new prompting events that can perpetuate a cycle of negative emotions, leaving someone stuck. But it doesn't have to be this way. Just like you would call AAA if you needed help because your car was stuck, it's okay to call on AAA if you feel stuck. Allow yourself to be aware of the situation. Accept what is and take action to move on. In this case, action is using your skills to feel better. So how do we do that? Let's take a look back at the model of emotion and look at all the different places where we can implement our skills. The please skill reminds us to treat our body well. That means taking care of physical illness and injury, limiting screen time, eating a healthy, balanced diet, avoiding self-medication, sleeping restfully, and exercising and stretching daily. We can also use the please skill to remind us that although we shouldn't be self-medicating, if the doctor prescribes a drug, we need to make sure we're taking it correctly. The please skill itself won't reduce all the vulnerability factors, but it could take care of a bunch of them. Mindfulness means to focus and to throw yourself into an activity fully and without judgment. We can use mindfulness to participate in activities that make social distancing tolerable, like independent outdoor sports, journaling, reading, or meditation. The ABC skill can not only help us deal with the current prompting event, but it can also help us build more positive prompting events in the future, leading to more positive feelings. To accumulate positive experiences means that the more good things you surround yourself with, the better you'll feel. Even though we have to be socially distant, there are still so many things that we can do to build positivity in our life. You can start by creating some sidewalk chalk drawings of inspirational quotes or song lyrics for your neighbors. Paint some rocks with positive messages and leave them throughout your neighborhood. The most powerful thing we can do for ourselves and for the world right now is to shine light into the dark times and send positive vibes into the environment. You can also use this time to build mastery. That means use the time to get better at something that's meaningful to you. Challenge yourself and let yourself feel a sense of accomplishment. Keep it easy at first and build it over time. Set small goals and watch yourself accomplish big things. And we can start thinking about coping ahead or looking into the future. We know that not everything will go our way, so let's plan for what could be. It's possible that if school opens in the fall, it could look very different. Ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario? Can you still come out of that situation successful? Rehearse using imagery that you can come out of that situation successful. How would you do that? Prepare. Let's consider our thoughts, particularly, what if your friend or loved one gets the virus? If that were true, the situation fits the facts, and we can move to problem solving to cope with our anxiety. To problem solve, we could educate ourselves using reliable sources and do whatever we could to make our loved ones as comfortable as possible. Other ways to problem solve are to pay attention to how you feel and let yourself validate that it's okay to not be okay. Try to stick to the facts of the situation as they currently are instead of living in what-if scenarios. Brainstorm ways your strengths can be helpful in the situation as it is, or consider options such as talk therapy, music therapy, or art therapy to cope. Also consider, if you currently do not know anybody battling the virus, the situation doesn't fit the facts. You're allowing yourself to be anxious before it really makes sense for the situation. Performing opposite action or replacing those worry thoughts with more factual thoughts on your current situation can make you feel better. Try replacing worry thoughts with more positive statements such as, my friends and family are safe and healthy, or I am grateful to be healthy. To understand the wave skill, I want you to think about a surfer and what they would need to do in order to stay on their board and ride a really big wave. They would have to practice their skills. They'd have to be prepared. They'd have to be healthy, free of drugs and alcohol. They'd need to be focused and determined in order to succeed. These are exactly the same characteristics you'd keep in mind if you chose to ride the wave of emotions and let your feelings happen. TIP is a helpful skill for calming down big emotions really fast. If your anxiety is causing a panic attack, for instance, you need to do something to feel better fast. TIP stands for temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing, and paired or progressive muscle relaxation. When a panic attack occurs, heat surges through your body because your heart rate and your blood pressure increase. Cooling down your body using ice cubes on your wrists or on the back of your neck, or an Evian bottle to spritz your face can really help you cool down your situation too. Another option is some intense exercise. Now, I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about getting outside and running really fast or going super fast on your bike. That's because since your heart rate is increasing so much and so fast, but your body is still, your brain is confused. Get your body to catch up so your brain understands what's happening. Or on the opposite side of things, instead of getting your body to match your heart rate, try getting your heart rate to match your body. You can do this by trying paced breathing or taking deep inhales and releasing your exhales. Finally, you can try paired or progressive muscle relaxation. That's when you squeeze your muscles really tightly and then let them go. And if you try that with all the muscles in your body, you'll eventually be able to really calm down and feel truly relaxed. If your anxiety is overwhelming your mind and body, it's time to try the crisis survival skills. The crisis survival skills are not intended to help you overcome your anxiety, but rather to distract you long enough to return to wise mind and make decisions that will benefit you in these times. The first crisis survival skill is called the Wise Mind Accept skill. Each one of these letters stands for something that you can do to distract your mind. It includes options like going for a long walk, doing something nice for someone else, taking a long bubble bath, or watching your favorite funny TV show. Our next crisis survival skill is called Improve the Moment, and each letter stands for something that can surround you with meaningful and positive things to help you feel a little bit better. These include things like participating in guided imagery, gratefulness journals, taking a break from stressful things, and doing something to support someone else. The final crisis survival skill is self-soothe. Appeal to your 5 senses and movement to distract your mind and feel better. In addition to the list of items here, you could also do a chop challenge and mindfully taste new flavors. You could listen to audiobooks, snuggle with a pet, or watch some satisfying soap cutting videos on YouTube. If you're having trouble believing that these skills could work for you, try a pro and con list. Write out all of the pros and cons of tolerating and not tolerating your anxiety. Based on your response, decide if these skills are worth a try. Just remember that before doing something that could greatly impact your life, stop. Take a break, observe the moment, and proceed mindfully with a wise mind. Quite possibly, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to remember to get unstuck using radical acceptance and AAA. Unfortunately, social distancing and distance learning are our reality for at least right now. If thinking about that brings you to a negative place, you have to turn your mind back to positivity. If we continue to live in what should be instead of what is, we're sabotaging our own ability to find joy in these uncertain times. Remember, it's natural for humans to focus on the negative, but noticing little moments of joy or when you're experiencing positive emotion will elicit more positive emotions. Social distancing is a stressful and harsh reality. If you get nothing else from this video, I hope you at least take away that you are not alone and what you're feeling is valid. Remember, your teachers, guidance counselors, and support staff are all here to help you. Reach out if you need to. We miss you.